Hey guys, this is Nate Jackson again, continuing on with our live or semi-live streaming interview series at Alex's Bar. I'm here with the Mexican Morrissey himself, Mr. Jose Maldonado.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. I mean, you guys, basically, I would consider you like one of the house bands of Alex's.
We love playing here.
Yeah,
Absolutely love playing here. I mean, just walking in here, I already started feeling all the sweat and all the
it's the red that brings
the
it out.
happiness. Yeah, it's just happiness, you know. You come in, you sound check, you know, and then you leave. You come back 2-3 hours later to like a packed room, and it's
Right.
like a completely different place. It's just this giant heartbeat of people.
Everyone's just ready to sing those songs.
It's fantastic.
Definitely.
And being here performing as well as like being on the other side of the stage, watching a band like The Damned play here is it's an experience, you know.
Yes.
It's an experience. You know, I mean, and I love going to a big arena show. You know, I'll check out, you know, I'll check out the Killers at the Staples Center. But when you come back to a place like this to watch, you know, to watch a band in a packed room like that, where everyone is all on the same page, knowing the words to every song.
Yes.
How do you beat that?
You can't. You
Yeah.
can't. And Sweet and Tender Hooligans has had a long history here, like we were just talking about. Do you remember much about when you first started coming here to Alex's, or maybe some early shows?
Oh yeah. I mean, because of the size of the place, you know, a lot of the pressure's off a little bit, you know, from playing the bigger halls, because you know, well, okay, we can fill a room like that. It's cool, and you know, there's always just that big sigh of relief of like, you know, you're gonna come into like a big room full of people who all wanted to be there, and about 24 people outside wishing they were in, you know.
Right.
So, oh yeah, it's fantastic, you know.
And you know, again, I think having you on is a perfect guest, you know, to talk about what's going on right now, especially because of the soundtrack that you provide. What Morrissey or Smith song do you feel perfectly sort of wraps up what's going on right now?
Well, it's I mean, every day is like Sunday, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
every day is silent and gray, and you
Yeah.
know, you just. Yeah, it's been a lot like that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's been the mood, you
Yeah.
know. Especially the first few weeks of it in LA, it was kind of cold and gray. You know, it was really that. It wasn't just the fact that we couldn't go anywhere, but even going outside you couldn't do because the weather was so like cold and just. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to go back to that. That was bad.
And you know, with you guys, you're sort of a special case. You know, being that you guys are such a well-known tribute band. Like, I think a lot of times people talk about what musicians are able to do during this time as a tribute act. Like, what do you do to keep sane? Like, is it kind of just a matter of like, I don't know, going somewhere else mentally, or what do you do to kind of keep sane right now?
You know, I've been on I've done a couple of Instagram live shows where just myself and an acoustic guitar, just to stay connected with, you know, the people that we're missing and the people that are missing us.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I host a weekly radio show dedicated to Morrissey and the Smiths.
Right.
And that's been a nice little outlet to have those people each and every single week tuning in and interacting with the show, keeping that connection, keeping that line open.
Yeah.
You know, and then we've also been recording. You know, I guess I can announce this. Actually, I haven't even.
News.
We've actually been recording remotely some Spanish language versions of Morrissey and Smith's songs. So with any luck, we should have something up, and we should have quite a few songs up and up, you know, before we get to go back and do this for real. Yeah.
I imagine that's something that's probably been on your mind to do for a while, right?
It has been. In fact, over the years, we've translated some of Morrissey's songs into Spanish.
Yeah.
I've translated, and you know, the band's recorded But doing this thing remotely has been it's been that one way that the five of us can, still stay connected, even though we haven't been in a room together since January. Oh God, yeah. Seems like forever.
So how do you guys? Are you big on the Zoom with them, or do you just kind of like you give each other your space?
Yeah,
we
already as it is, we live pretty far away from each other as it is. Okay. I mean, I want to say, one of our guys is way out in the Inland Empire, another guy is on the west side. I'm in Pasadena. We're all over the map.
Yeah.
So it's we hardly ever cross paths as it is.
Right.
So about the only way that we have been able to connect is through these recordings that we've been doing. So.
And where have you been able to record, or how is that happening?
In our home, just in our home studios. Each and when I say home studio, I mean my laundry room.
Yeah.
Which I had no idea was actually pretty good for sound dampening, because you've got linens and towels all like backed up here, like acting as anyway.
Never underestimate the towels, man.
I know.
I know. I've had my own setup, my own laundry room as well.
I think that's been the story of everybody. Everyone who's had to work from home, or anyone who's had to record from home, or podcast from home, or whatever. It's they find that one room that is good for that, and so did we.
Yeah. What if you could describe one thing that you sort of miss most about playing live? I mean, we talked about the fan experience, but there's so much to it, But like, if there's one thing that you could say that definitely, when playing a club like Alex's, or a room where it's just like such a great vibe, like what is the one thing you really miss about it?
It's that first cheer before we've even played a note. Before we've even played a note, just good evening, everybody, and then suddenly that. It's like that. It's like a big warm hug.
Yeah.
And then you just go.
Right.
I think I miss that the most.
Definitely.
For sure.
And being able to see that come back in some form is really what we're all waiting for right now. It's an uncertain future, but again, through doing stuff like what we're able to do right now with the streaming, at least you can kind of somewhat connect and get people to see what they've been missing for a long time. And I know you getting that feeling, of at least playing together, playing in some form. I don't know. Do you see like an interest, as far as you guys are concerned, in doing some streaming shows in the future, or?
I would happily do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for. I'm all for doing what is safe. I'm all for doing what is, allowed, because I may be a rock and roller, but I'm a rule follower first. I know that's not a very rock and roll thing to say, but I'm a rule follower first.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't know. Part of me is still just sort of hoping for the, I kind of want it to, when they decide to flip the switch back on, even though I would like for it to be a toggle, I know that it's going to be a dimmer switch.
Yeah, it's like a dial,
that's what they're going to do. They're not going to suddenly go, okay, shows are back on. It's not going to be that. So I'm still trying to, in my mind, imagine what that first little dial is going to be. So when it is, I'll be there.
I know, me too, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, over the last several months, I think it has been a big question on people's minds as to the survival of these venues, and being able to continue once things are being able to even switched on somewhat. What do you think? So if you could impress this on someone maybe sitting at home right now who's thinking oh, should I, help donate to, a GoFundMe for a venue, or maybe call my local government official and just make sure they know that I'm politically involved in wanting this to wanting to see some relief. What could you say to somebody who's a fan of Sweet and Tender Hooligans right now?
I would say pick your favorite venue that you've seen pick your favorite small venue where you've seen your favorite band play, and see what you can do to help. There's an organization that our agent Stormy Venecamp is involved in called NITO Live, NITO Live. You can look them up on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're doing everything they can specifically to help out these venues, because the way she puts it, you know, salons are going to get back to work, restaurants are going to get back to work, all this other stuff's going to get back to work, all before we finally get to live shows.
Right.
It's going to be like one of the last things that are going to get back to work.
Yeah.
So now more than ever, they're going to need organizations like NITO Live and these GoFundMe projects that a lot of venues have done. I'd say, yeah, pick your favorite small venue where you've seen, you know, your favorite band play, or maybe that one small venue where you tell everybody, oh yeah, I saw Nirvana there before they were Nirvana. You know? I remember I once saw Radiohead play there. Yeah, that's right. I was there. Nobody knew who they were, you know.
Jose Maldonado sweated on me at Alex's bar, you know, like, right there on that spot.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, like, I know you've played here countless times, but is there a moment or two that you can remember playing at Alex's that kind of like sticks out? Maybe one that you feel like kind of encapsulates how you feel about this particular venue?
Oh, I can't remember which one it was. I mean, because there've been so many. There was just one show in particular. I remember seeing 4 or 5 real pale skinned dudes, and I later learned they were so pale skinned because they were from England, so from Manchester.
Yeah.
So they had heard about us all the way in Manchester, and they just happened to be in town.
Wow.
When we were playing here at Alex's bar, and you know that, and hearing those guys like total football hooligans singing over these, our usual audience.
Yeah.
That was great too, and I think they were impressed with how everybody here loves this band out of Manchester so much, you know.
I mean,
that was cool.
The soccer hooligan stamp of approval is one
Yeah,
that you can't
right.
take lightly.
For sure.
Right on. Well, thank you, Jose, for your time, and
Happy to do it.
Yeah, no, great talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you on stage at one point or another.
Hope so, man. Hope so.